So unfortunately, a lot of the plates were in a very bad condition when they were discovered in the shop and brought to the archives in 1978. The cellar was very damp. They were stored on wooden shelves which had collapsed, and unfortunately a lot of the larger plates which were on the bottom shelves were damaged, cracked, or completely broken. The conditions weren't particularly good, so the cellar wasn't particularly dry or a good temperature. So unfortunately lots of the plates have sustained damage, and there are various different types. This plate here you can see is cracked and broken, but also the emulsion has started to delaminate or peel away, and that can be caused by moisture, humidity, various atmospheric conditions. This plate here is completely cracked into pieces. These kind of issues of damage can be addressed by a professional conservator, but it's a very specialist business and it's incredibly expensive. There are other types of damage, such as where plates have become completely adhered to the envelopes, which are more problematic and difficult to deal with. Every plate comes in its own individual envelope, and this is our main source of information about the plates. Each plate has an individual identification number, which Knights Witham has allocated, and if we're lucky, we have a surname, a title and some initials, although that's not always the case. We also have information about orders placed and dates underneath, so we believe the dates on the envelopes pertain to the orders rather than the actual dates of photography. The envelopes themselves are problematic because they were written on with ink pen. The quality of the paper isn't great, and in many cases the ink has leaked, meaning that the handwriting is completely indecipherable. So it's very much a subjective business trying to transcribe the information which is on the envelopes, which can be problematic for us in terms of research and uncovering who the sitters might have been. This is another damaged plate. As you can see, this is one of the particularly nasty plates. It's cracked and broken. The emulsion itself is also delaminated and peeling away from the plate, so it's very unstable. So one of our priorities for this phase of funding is to do a complete audit of the condition of the plate so we can send them out for professional conservation. That's something which will have to be continued over a number of years. These are a couple of examples of the envelopes that we have to work with. As you can see, it's quite hard to decipher the handwriting, so we've had to develop checking systems in order to make sure that everyone is clear about the names that have been transcribed. In this case, with a little bit of practice, I think I can say that this is Russell Pavier, Esquire, GS, and this one is probably Nurse Owen. The envelopes are all different. Sometimes there's extensive instructions as to retouching. The clients really did expect their portraits to look as good as possible. At this period, photography is following directly on from portrait painting, where people were used to having their pictures enhanced and improved, and people really expected photographers to be able to work the same miracles. So we see requests for noses made straighter, for hair to be tidied, for eyes to be made brighter quite frequently. This is just our current work in progress. We have extensive stores downstairs where the majority of the plates are kept. There's no way we could have them up here. We're very limited for space. Plates and envelopes are separated quite early on. Plates are cleaned and rehoused in specialist conservation grade 4 flat folders, and envelopes are catalogued and will later be scanned for posterity. Many of them are in a really fragile state, so it's important that we record them carefully because these are really our only sources of information. We don't unfortunately have any ledgers which give us information about the plates. So we have about 5 sizes of plates. The quarter plates here is our biggest group. There's around 4,000 of those, and most of those have already been digitised and are available online. If you visit our Flickr page, you can see those images. We also have half plates, which is this size. These are currently being cleaned and rehoused, but we're not going to be able to get these digitised in this phase of funding. We have around 600 full plates, which are in decent enough condition to be digitised. We have quite a few which still need to be conserved. 10 by 12 plates are our largest size. These would have been reserved for Knights Witham's most wealthy clients, and also for outdoor subjects, landscapes, architectural views. A number of these, well, the vast majority of these are in very poor condition and need conservation. So sadly, although they contain the most interesting subjects, we just can't do anything with them at the moment.